Hey, I'm Randy, and you're watching The Cheap Audio Man. We talk about hi-fi, headphones, home theater, cheap stuff. This is my New Mexico mug. It's got aliens on it. Have I converted to tubeism? Am I part of Tube Nation? Do I like tubes? All this and more. Huge thank you to Extra Wallets. We're going to talk about them later. They're the little slim wallets, though. Okay. Tubes. We're going to talk about the Black Eyes Audio FX10. Let's see if I can get a closer look at it. It's this thing right there. It's still on. It's very hot. And since it's so hot, I'm not going to pull it over and like lift it. And it's heavy too. So chances are if I lifted it up and was like showing it to you, I would fall over. Anyway, the Black Eyes Audio FX10 comes in at $625. I know that doesn't sound cheap per se, but with a little bit of context, that is not a bad deal when it comes to tube amps. Fully tube amps, not a tube buffer with a Class D output, a real tube amplifier. Never really liked tube amps for speakers. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but first a word from our sponsor. Here's the thing about Extra Wallets, okay? This is the one that's been in my pocket every day since I got these in as a sponsor. Rarely do I use something every day that a sponsor sends me and then be so excited about it, I tell everybody about it. But this is Extra Wallet. It's a slim wallet, so it takes your old wallet like this and then not have to use it anymore. This is my old wallet. This is the new wallet. Old wallet. Hello. New wallet. Hello, governor. Sorry. Horrible. You can fit a bunch of cards in here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got my license, which is a horrible picture of me. This is a main event card, which I hate that place. You ever been to main event? It's super loud. They have arcades and bowlings and stuff. Check this out. You put this in your wallet and then you can find it on an app, just in case you replaced your wallet because you're irresponsible. They have some more traditional style of wallets like this. Put a little money in there, a little flappy, put your license in there, but has the same deal. Or you can get this one, put a tile in there. Again, money, again, like that. So, my favorite is this one, carbon fiber one. Right now they are running their Black Friday once a year sale, 35% off their already low prices. Go to shop.extra.com/cheapaudioman to get an additional 35% off. 35% off. That's awesome. Listen, I love this thing. I probably going to be buying some of these for Christmas presents. Actually, one. There's zero chance my dad would go for something like this. Zero chance. Maybe. I don't know. It'd be interesting. Even further, I can't push the button. It pushes the button to get his credit cards. Push the button. Extra wallets. I know it's weird, but this is going to change your life. If you're anything like me, and you had one of these, then you had to go to the chiropractor because you're so big. So go to shop.extra.com/cheapaudioman to get 35% off your orders. It's great for holidays. Give the gift of this gift to yourself in your stocking and then act surprised. Shop.extra.com/cheapaudioman. The Black Eyes Audio FX10. Again, $625. That's not terrible. So the company, I talked to them at Capital Audio Fest, and they say they own the manufacturing facility in Shanghai, but they ship and they service right here in the United States of America, and they have a 45 in-home trial. That's pretty cool, right? I didn't read the fine print. I don't know if there's like a restocking fee or anything like that. But the takeaway is 45 days. Look, if you don't know if you like tubes, if you're tube skeptical like I am, get it in your house. Try it out for 45 days or 40 days and see if you like it. And then if you don't like it, send it back. Not a lot of companies doing that. Comes with two 12 AX7 signal tubes, 4 EL84 power tubes. I've listened to some tube amps that have had, I think, 2 EL34s. Wasn't a huge fan of EL34s. Too sweet on top. Not a lot of beef on the bottom. Inputs and power. So there's 2 RCAs on the back. One's labeled CD, the other one's labeled aux. But you can put whatever you want in there. you want to put a DAC in the CD, put a DAC in the CD. Also on the front is a 3.5 millimeter jack. So I think this is like old school. If you had a phone, you could plug that one right into there. Switchies right here, volume knob, nice black ice logo, and then the standby. One of the other cool features about this amplifier is that it has a glass case. Now, it has ventilation at the top, around, under the bottom, and stuff like that. But it's all glass. Sometimes tube amps don't have anything going over them. Other times, there's like a wire cage that goes over them so your kid doesn't get third-degree burns when he grabs them because it looks all pretty. This one opts for a glass case. And if it was sealed, it would be cool if you could put like a goldfish or a beta fish in there. How cool would that be? Listen to some nice tunes with your buddy, the beta, in there. Pretty sure though, if you fill a tube amp with water and put a fish in it, I don't know if it voids the warranty. So this whole glass enclosure comes up, and then on the bottom there's these 4 long screws. You screw them in. So you don't have to have the glass case on there. This one comes in black or silver. It's reported that this puts out 10 watts, basically continuous power, 12 watts peak. And on the website they also say that it can drive 89 dB speakers. I actually drove 87 dB speakers and 86 dB speakers. And funny enough, I thought the speaker with the lower sensitivity actually sounded better. It also comes with a remote control. This is it. Nothing fancy. Not my favorite. I don't like these credit card sized remote controls. Is it a credit card size? Look at this. It could fit in the extra wallet. Now, I'm not a big fan of them, but I get it. And I think we need to keep things into perspective. At $625 for a product that's being shipped and sold out of the United States and supported, this is what we're going to get. It doesn't have to be what we're going to get, but this is what we're getting here. It switches inputs, it gives you volume, it mutes, and it puts it in a standby mode. I don't love it, but it works. This thing looks awesome. I love it. It's got a small footprint. It's a little bit different. It's not the traditional tube amp that you'd see. This is kind of tailor-made for a small system, maybe a secondary system in a different room, but you can put this wherever you want. You could actually use this and have another amplifier. If the tube mood struck you, you could switch it over to this amplifier. Tube mood. Did you get it? Get it? I think it's a great footprint. That's how big it is compared to an Iron Man action figure. This is how big it is compared to a tape measure. I could measure it, but I'm not. I also like the glass. I think it's a cool and different touch. I've had a total of three traditional tube power amps, tube speaker power amps here. And it hasn't been a great experience for me. I think I had the Bayou Range A10, which is a Chinese, and the build quality was great on this. It's just the sound. It had EL34 tubes. And I'm not blaming that amp. I'm not blaming the tubes. I blame myself. Tube amps have never resonated with me. They always felt like they're thin on the bottom and the mid-range is pushed too forward. Like really forward. Lean on the bottom, mid-range too forward, and sometimes a little bit too sparkly on top for me too. So I had 2 Bayou Ranges in of varying prices. By the time you paid for shipping, it's coming in around the same price as the FX10. And then the other one I got in was actually more expensive than the FX10. And then I have the Tube Cube 7, which is a very inexpensive, kind of almost hilariously built tube amp. The RCAs will be switched around. QA is not great on the Tube Cube 7. Anyway, it has 2 EL84 tubes. I didn't love that one either. That's way underpowered. I think it only puts out 2 watts. So it's a bit optimistic because this one has 10 watts. My music could also be to blame here because I listen to almost exclusively rock and roll, metal, grunge, stuff that may not be the best pairing with tube amps. However, if it's an amp, it should sound good with anything, right? It should just be a good amp. It shouldn't be a good amp for acoustic music. It shouldn't be a good amp for classical music. It shouldn't be a good amp for jazz. It should just be a good amp, right? Started out with the Metallica Black album, and it was good. There was actually more bass there. But again, that upper mid-range was pushed a little bit forward. A little bit uncomfortable for me. By the way, I started off with the Ascend Acoustics AE100 Mark IIs, which are great. Had great center imaging. But the way that speaker is tilted on the top, it was a bit much. Then I changed it to the Wharfdale Denton 80th edition. It, I think, was a better pairing with the FX10, but the imaging wasn't as good. So the takeaway here is that it imaged really, really well with the AE100 Mark IIs. It sounded, I think, better with the Denton. Neither one of those speakers is very efficient, and I was able to get both of them into the low 80s, 85 dB SPL range with no problem, no distortion, which is way louder than I usually listen to anyway. I normally am a 65 to 80 dB guy when it comes to SPL, and that's really loud. The music that I think came off the best was more singer-songwriter stuff. Mumford & Sons, I think, sounded brilliant. Adele sounded brilliant. There were some it was kind of hit or miss with my music. The Metallica Black Album didn't sound bad. Depeche Mode sounded great. Policy of Truth was like, whoa, this is fantastic. I'm having, I think, a taste of what all these tube people are talking about. It didn't love every song. To be fair, most speakers don't love every song. I like the price. I like that it is shipped and sold in the US. I like you can get a 45-day in-home trial. I like the gentlemen that own the company. I talked to them at Capitol Audio Fest. I like the footprint. I think it's a little bit different. I like the fact that it has somewhat common tubes. So there's a bunch of 12AX7 equivalents that you can put in there. They may have different gains though, so you want to make sure that you're finding the right tube. EL84s are also a very common tube. So this will be easy to tube roll or change the tubes to a different tube to get a bit of a different sound. I like that it has 10 watts. It was able to drive most things to levels that I like. The remote, that's about the only thing I don't like about this tube amplifier. I get it. It's affordable. Concessions have to be made when it comes to the remote control. So I understand. It works. I complain about a lot of remote controls though. I'm not ready to jump both feet into the tube pool yet. I could live with this one. Probably not as my only amplifier, but I could live with this one when I wanted to change things up a bit. Because even with rock and roll, even with my Metallica, even with Korn, there was some magic there. And again, I know it's been talked to death, but the holographic nature, layering, I think it's a great amplifier. It's way better than the Tube Cube 7, which that thing is going to probably fall apart. It works for a little while, but it's like a toy tube amplifier. So if you're wanting to kind of get into tubes a little bit more at an affordable price, 45-day home trial. And they're really cool. I think they're probably going to take care of you if you change your mind or something like that. They can upgrade these, hot rod them, if you will, even more. So I don't think there's anything not to like about Black Ice Audio. And they have some other cool looking equipment as well. So if you're tube curious, go check out Black Ice Audio. I'd highly, highly, highly recommend that you do. This tube amp gets me as close as I've been to being like, I love tube amps. I like this tube amp. I've never liked a tube amp before. So we're making progress. If you want to support the channel, you can just thumbs this video up and subscribe, or you can check out the links in the description. Most of those links are affiliate links. The link to the Black Ice Audio FX10 is not an affiliate link. You can also sign up for Amazon Music, Tidal, or Roan. Click on the link, sign up. Even if you quit, I still get a couple of dollars. Or you can buy me a cup of coffee. Use the thanks button down by the share button. Give me a couple of bucks. Or don't give me anything at all, because you shouldn't feel compelled to give me anything at all. So, don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen. You can also join Patreon and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.